GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Broadcasting worldwide on GearNetwork.com, sharing wrestling news and opinions. It's Talking Wrestling, and your host, JC.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the now episode 38, my God, of the Talking Wrestling podcast right here on the Gear Radio Network. How the hell are you people? My name is John Cimino, a.k.a. JC Money, here with you, and I'm going to talk some wrestling with you today. But first, let's pay some bills here. As always, we are sponsored by our store through Amazon. We're heading into the dog days of summer, ladies and gentlemen. Get your school shopping done. It's real easy. If you go to GearNetwork.com, and if you look at the upper right-hand corner where it says support the shows, if you click on that, it's going to go down there. You're going to get a drop-down menu. It's going to say Amazon. Click that. Click that up there at the top of the page there, and boom, you're there. The Amazon store. Click on any one of the banners. It's going to take you to your account, and you can do your back-to-school shopping, your birthday shopping. Hey, JC's birthday's on December 5th. You want to send me a nice gift? Buy something from Amazon. Send it to me. That'd be cool. Christmas shopping, of course. All your shopping. Everything you want to do, you can do on Amazon, and you can do it, as Donald Trump would say, big league. That's right. I don't know. I was just talking about politics with Brandon from Football Talk Weekly, but we're not here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about wrestling, and right now, I'm going to state this for the record. Obviously, the WWE Draft happened last night. You all know, as of this recording last night, you all know what's going on about it, going on with that draft. We'll talk about that more next week. I'm a little behind as far as the wrestling podcasts go, so bear with me. So we'll do WWE Draft talk next week. I was all right with what happened on Tuesday anyways, but we'll talk a little bit about that next week. As for this week, we're going to do Local Madness again. I've done two previous Local Madness episodes in years past, a couple years ago. Big success. We are on the heels of IWF Summer Bash, which is this Friday, the 22nd. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is at 7 p.m. If you want to go get your tickets, you can do so through IWF or any of their superstars. Pre-sale ticket price is for general admission $12. Front row $15, kids $7, and then the price changes. It's general admission $15 and kids $7 the day of the show. That is this coming Friday. And speaking of this coming Friday, and speaking of IWF, and speaking of Local Madness, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Emanon and Marc Hauss will both be on this program in no particular order. Not sure exactly how we'll work it, but we're going to talk to both Eric Emanon and Marc Hauss in separate conversations. Marc Hauss, just announced recently, is going to be wrestling Bobby Ocean, and the winner of that match moves on later on that night to face Sean Carr. Now, Sean Carr, the IWF champion, was supposed to defend the championship against Big League John McChesney. McChesney unfortunately had an injury since the last podcast and is going to be unable to compete, so that left a wide open spot for Sean Carr, and that's going to be filled by either Marc Hauss, our friend, or Bobby Ocean. We're going to talk to Marc Hauss a little later on to find out what's going on with him, what his thought process is heading into this match here with Bobby Ocean, and possibly walking out that night the IWF Heavyweight Champion, as well as some of the other things he's doing. He's all over the place. I don't know if he's naming this tour or whatever, but he's on pretty much every weekend. So, and also, Marc Hauss, I need to get with you, and I'll talk to you offline about this. But might need you to start training me again. More on that in the weeks to come. But all right, I'm going to kick this show off, the self-talking portion here, the one-man show part of it here, talking about WrestleFest. Now, again, it's very, very well documented that I did not participate in WrestleFest this year, although I was advertised to. I was supposed to wrestle Trip at WrestleFest at that biggest show of OSPW, and then certain circumstances led to my not only myself but a bunch of others either leaving before the show or leaving after the show. And I don't want to say I had correspondence there because that would make it seem like I sent people, but people talk. and that talk gets back to me. So, as far as I understand, as far as WrestleFest goes, as far as the draw, apparently it was a very good draw, and I am very happy that they had that draw. I would like to know if any of the boys were compensated with that draw, because if you're putting out there that we had to get more seats, we had to get more seats because all the seats that were set up are filled and there was more people ready to get in and we had to make the space for them and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, that's a good house, so somebody should have gotten paid. More than one person should have got paid, I would think. So hopefully the boys were taken care of. I really hope they were taken care of. The boys that remained there were taken care of. But as I had anticipated, there was going to be some fireworks on the day of the show, and needless to say, I was not disappointed. First and foremost, I was... and Tiger Smith touched up on this on his podcast on UWC Network. I don't often cross-promote, but if you go to his page and listen to... I don't remember exactly what he named that podcast, but he gave his rendition of what happened at that show. But so a lot of what I was told came directly from him before he put out the podcast. So I'll begin with, I spoke to Tiger earlier on that day, and we were kind of talking about how, what was going on with the show and how he felt that there was, something was going to happen, whether or not, if it didn't, obviously it wasn't going to involve me, I wasn't there, but, that just, we weren't sure, and he wasn't sure specifically how the element of the locker room would be. He was already heated as was because of some misunderstanding, I think, with someone else, but he and I had a long conversation about that day and kind of what to expect. And no sooner than I hang up the phone with him, and this is about noon 30, no sooner do I hang up the phone with him, bam, inundated with fake accounts, this time on Twitter, not on Facebook, the day of the show. And so I sat there and I'm looking at this and I'm watching as these accounts are tweeting myself and tweeting Gear Network and tweeting BLTD Sports and tweeting, Tiger and Ash and whomever. They're just tweeting everybody with stupid things, pictures of the male genitalia and tagging us all in that and specifically one that was made to directly attack me for some reason, was saying very racial inspired words. And at that point, I had it. And I made a couple of calls, and I had to be talked down from the ledge because I was about ready to get in the car and drive over there and bust somebody open, but knock some teeth down some throats, throw some hands, as Gabriel Soul or Thomas Brewington would say, throw some hands, and likely be taken out in cuffs over stupid wrestling. And that was mainly the reason why I got out of it, is because of not going to sugarcoat a bullshit like that. Bullshit like that happens, and it doesn't happen everywhere. But it seems to be accentuated here in this area. So while that's going on, I proactively reach out to everybody that was to blame. Everybody from OSPW's Matt Amato to Shadowcat to Terry Cadillac's bitch-ass himself. I threw out messages to all of them. It was like, yo, you better knock this off if you know who's doing it. And for the record, I don't believe that Matt Amato had anything to do with it. But he was friends with them, so I figured if anybody could relay the message, he certainly could. To his credit, Shadowcat responded to me. Was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. It's not me. And not only did he, and mind you, Shadow and I I would say that we're okay now, or at least have an understanding of each other at this point. I'm not putting the guy over, and I don't expect him to put me over. But to his credit, he reached back out to me. He made the effort to verbalize it to me that he is not responsible for any of that. He's just as annoyed as everybody else is, and I've got no reason to not, believe a guy that's going to come to me directly and make a point during show day to tell me, I got nothing to do with it, dude. Whereas Terry, on the other hand, he didn't respond. Apparently, he deleted internet off of his phone, which, again, is being from the cell phone industry, opposite here, prior to what I'm doing now. That's if you have a smartphone, you can't delete internet off your phone. That's a load of shit right there that he fed. But he, again, denying that, but not, of course, denying or giving an answer to the question that I've always asked him, that I've asked him repeatedly over and over again, why he made it so personal. He doesn't respond to that one. But when it comes to these fake accounts that populate every time he gets bored or something happens to his crappy place, no way, man, no way, it's not me. So that happened. Then I find out from another source that the locker room was just completely tense, like super divided, and the show went off. I guess okay. I don't want to say everybody didn't escape unharmed. Tiger kind of took a shot to the head when he went in the casket and busted himself open pretty good and whatever, but he's okay. And Tripp and Sean Carr had a pretty hell of a match. Sean Carr brought one of the writers from ECPW with him, which I guess didn't sit too well with a couple of other people. But bottom line, having heard multiple different things from multiple different sources, all of which had a lot of drama involved with it, I again state that I am so goddamn glad that I did not participate in WrestleFest, because if I did, then it would have been less and less about the match and more about what would have happened had I had those interactions that Tiger had, or that Gabriel Soul had, or whomever had, and it was very close. I was very close to getting in that car and driving all the way down there to confront some of these people face to face after those accounts happened again, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back. What Tiger didn't mention, well, actually he did, but he kind of mentioned it a little out of order in his podcast. But what was the straw that broke the camel's back was when those fake accounts started harassing my wife and started harassing other people not associated with it. That was what did it for me. That was what did it for me in WrestleFest and OSPW. Aside from the fact that I ended up finding out that Deacon never wanted me there in the first place, and I don't really care. But, that was what did it for me. So the fact that it happened was kind of like a f*** you kind of thing, whatever. And sure, if that's what made them happy, I guess cool, whatever. Whatever. It's hard to say, because I have a life. And when you have a life and you get bothered by people that don't have a life, that have the time to do stupid things like this, not realizing the ramifications of what they're doing or who they are messing with, it's easy to get very bothered by it. And I was almost to that point where I almost let it get the best of me. And I'm glad I didn't, because then I would have had to have at least brought my gear and do a triple threat match, and I'm not ready for that. But you know what? Kudos to Tripp for being a pro about the situation, for understanding what was going on. And you're the only one from OSPW that I'm going to get management that I'll give props to for that. You understood the situation. You respected it. I appreciate that. Deacon, claims he's going to be done in two shows or whatever. I doubt that. Personally, from what I've heard, and this is another thing too, is because he went on record and said that the last few shows have nothing to do with Ultimate Wrestling. And from what I understand, that may very well not be the case starting next show. There may be some sort of invasion angle or some crap going on there. So my only, if that's the case, my only hope is that Doink the Clown doesn't invade anybody because he's dead. So, all right, I'm gonna say again, To Trip, thank you very much for your understanding. To the people that were disappointed, Tiger included, that I was not there, blame them. Blame them, not me. Because it was all the fake accounts and the people that are behind them that caused that issue and that caused that thing to happen. So blame them. But I'm sorry that we didn't get the chance to catch up. I know there were a lot of you that were looking forward to having me back there and shooting the breeze or whatever, but the divide and the gap was too big for me to go there and be a positive contributor to that show. And I'm very glad that I didn't, because the draw didn't need me anyways, and so I hope, like I said, I hope that the draw that was so big took care of the boys. So with that being said, we're going to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, the first of our two guests, is it Eric? Is it Marc Hauss? Who knows? You will, right after this.
I'm often asked about the logos of the show and Gear Network and everything. It comes to me, JC, where do you get the designs, the cool designs for the show and everything? And I want to tell you, I'm going to tell everybody right now, right here, you heard it here, it is Indie Card Media. Indie Card Media is a local business that specializes in making quality designs for your website or your business. Whatever you do, they can do it. If you need proof, you can look at all of our logos, or you can go to facebook.com/IndieCardMedia to see all of the designs, which include a political banner, because they've done political banners and everything. Nothing is off limits with them. Give Eric a shout at IndieCardMafia@gmail.com, and he will help you bring your design to life. Tell him Gear Network sent you, and hey, he may hook you up with a little something, or at least a smile, because you heard it here. But go to IndieCard Media Facebook. Again, facebook.com/IndieCard Media. Do it now. Bring your designs to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. Gabriel Soul.
And I'm Pat G.
The G stands for gangster. And you are listening to the Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, baby.
Every week live and exclusively on the Gear Network,
where we talk about indie wrestling, national wrestling, WWE, TNA, ROH, every single independent wrestling scene that we get information on, plus our opinions on such.
Find it only on the Gear Network app, iTunes, and more.
You always got to go to GearNetwork.com to tune in and listen to my voice every single week, because I know you love it. And the reason why is because you get eargasms, baby.
And if you want those eargasms, tune in every week. Otherwise, we only have one word for you.
Cyclone!
Repo Man.
From the Gear Network studios, once again, JC Money. All right, everybody, as promised, the first of my two guests this week on Local Madness here on Talking Wrestling is none other than the president of the IndyCard Mafia, the owner and CEO of IndyCard Media, whom designs the network logos, pretty much all of them from top to bottom, and a good brother, Mr. Eric Emanon. Eric, how is it going, my dude?
You know what? I'm having an amazing week. The wife is off of work, so we've just been hanging out with the family so far for the week. It's been pretty relaxing, but counting down the days to Friday. You know how that is, getting ready for the show weekend. Going to hit the road in Brockport and then travel on from there,
Indeed. And we definitely have some subject matter to talk about as far as Friday's show in Brockport is concerned. But I want to actually touch up on another controversy, if you will. We'll begin there. Now, in the first segment, I spoke about, you won't hear about this until you actually listen to the podcast when I release it, but I spoke about the WrestleFest 14 incident.
Yep.
More my side of it. The past couple of weeks, I've talked about that and kind of relayed the information that I heard that had came to me about the days that transpired. It is also well known that you and Tommy were the OSPW Tag Team Champions headed into that show. And not too long after I made the announcement that I was pulling out of the show, you guys did the same thing.
That is correct.
Now, there is a a misconception, I want to say.
Speculation.
That you guys leaving was to, quote unquote, hop on the JC bandwagon.
Well, it's funny that that's brought up.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, okay.
So, with that being said, you've been vocal on the internet about it. This is your opportunity to speak on it, verbalize it, get your side of the story out there so people can actually hear you. You were about to say something regarding the quote-unquote JC bandwagon or whatever. Go ahead.
There was speculation after we had left the venue because we did something that not a lot of people normally have the honor to do. And I say honor because, I mean, there's been multiple companies in this area where champions have left the company while being champion and they just hold on to the titles that they have. We drove up from PA, and was it from PA? We drove up from Buffalo, essentially.
Yes, it was from Sanctuary. It was from Sanctuary, PA. You were at Sanctuary the night before.
We drove up and we dropped off our tag team titles and we handed them over to the promoter. We gave them to the promoter, and I thanked him for the past 8 years that he had given me and the start he gave me. Because honestly, without OSPW, I wouldn't have probably started where I did in this business. Back to March 8th, 2008, being in an 8-man tag with people like Curtis Lee Walker, Super Beast. I think Cassius Kutcher might have been in there too. But that was how I got my start, was that 8-man tag match, and I'll never forget that, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But when it came down to leaving OSPW, it was something that was almost a year in the making. Obviously sports entertainment, stories have their point A to point B, and then, the end of the chapters, if you will. Our chapter was supposed to end last year at WrestleFest. And it was supposed to kind of be the final nail going into their October show. And, I had pitched a match, if you will, at WrestleFest, which was, from what, people there, guys like Mike Ewing, somebody who's been there forever, said that it was the best 3 matches that he'd seen at a WrestleFest in a row. In the 30 minutes that all 3 matches were going on out there, the attention was not lost to the crowd once. The story was constantly told throughout the entire 30-minute, spectacle that was going on in front of everybody.
What matches are you referencing, Eric?
So this would be the WrestleFest 13. This would have been the Deacon and Gabriel Soul versus Mikey and Chris. Okay. And then it would have been us versus Deacon and Soul, and then me and Tommy versus Mikey and Chris, where we exchanged the belt 3 times that night.
Gotcha. I remember that. I wasn't thrilled with the booking there and that one, but you and I had a separate conversation off air. But
and it was.
I digress. Go ahead.
It was supposed to be way worse than it turned out to be, and we were able to go out there and tell an amazing story and have fun, and the crowd was into it, and the crowd was, the feedback we got on the internet the next 2 weeks after that show was amazing. And then October rolls around, and the book got changed and the script got flipped on us, and it took everything in me to not leave the company in October. We were made promises over like a 2-year span that all this stuff was going to be happening. We're going to make sure things are good. We're going to make sure we do right by you. And every time it was about to happen, something changed. Something got pulled away from us, and it got really bad. Because I was like, why am I doing it for this company anymore? Why am I killing myself for this place when it's just a lot of promises and nonsense? And so it took a few people to talk me out of it, but I went and I did the job in October, and a few months passed because they didn't run from October until I think February. And then we went and won the title belts in February. And so it was just kind of annoying that, promises hadn't been kept, and words were broken, and I think that kind of really like tarnished my relationship with the company. And then
I'm sorry, go on.
I was going to say, fast forward to leading up to WrestleFest. I mean, there's just tons of like ridiculous internet drama going on between workers and promoters.
Please don't mention the name of the fake accounts.
No, I wasn't even.
If we're going there.
Yeah, it wasn't even just that though. I mean, it was just a lot of like really unnecessary drama in. There is, the company that's starting up over there in place of old school professional wrestling. I'm not gonna give them the time of day either, because honestly, it's not worth 2 pennies in my pocket. Bottom line is that I thought to myself, leading up to WrestleFest, okay, there's 3 shows left. Professionally, out of the 6 shows they booked me for this year, I have over 60 other shows that I'm working. In those last 3 shows, what are they going to give me for my career? What are they going to do for me that will further my career in those final 3 shows? Okay, they're going to give me 2 losses and a win. I mean, that's realistically it. No pay. Fans haven't bought merch there. They don't buy merch because, well, why are they investing in superstars that are just leaving? And so I'm literally losing money by just going there. So why am I going to a company that's an hour away and losing money when I can go to a company that's 4+ hours away, make money, sell merch, expand my brand, expand my exposure? And that was really where my mindset came into it. And going into it, I had a bad feeling. We got kind of dinged up going up, leading up to those months, but regardless, it was definitely a personal decision. If anything, I mean, we've got a lot of really important stuff coming up, and I just couldn't justify driving out there working for free and risking my body when everything that we're about to be doing is like, it's bigger picture stuff, So yeah, we left the company, but
so bottom line it here.
Mm-hmm.
You're the IndyCar Mafia's departure.
Yeah.
Prior to WrestleFest had nothing to do with me.
Not at all.
And had absolutely everything to do with your creative direction, both within and abroad.
Absolutely. And there's, like I said, there's been places that have taken care of us tenfold over the course, like a place like the Sanctuary, a place that is given me faith in wrestling again. It's given me faith in, the art of professional wrestling, and as John Trotsky refers to it, as, stunting. I've never been to a place where I've walked in and felt like everyone there was family until the Sanctuary. And I thought I had that in a few places, but I never really felt that feeling until, we were sitting upstairs and just watching back the show with John, going over, different camera angles, different techniques, different ways to throw things, different, just little things, minute things to make it better. And I went, wow, he really cares about this business. He really cares about us as as people and as workers. And, he wants to see us succeed. Whereas I've never had a promoter sit down with me and go over footage and go, okay, that was good. This could have changed. Why'd you do that? That was good. Overall,
well, let's be realistic here. When you're talking about, is it Trotsky or Trotsky? I keep saying it.
Trotsky.
Okay, I keep saying Trotsky. So, John, if you're listening, I apologize. But those that know wrestling, know independent wrestling, know the name. They know who John Trotsky is. And with his credentials, there's not very many promoters, especially out in this area. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, because it's the goddamn truth. There's not very many promoters out here, if any at all, that have his credentials, that are able to sit down and critique it and be like, okay, this is what's working, this is what's not working. I'm the promoter, I know my product. Mm-hmm. I've also been where you are and know what to do to get to that, the next step. You know what I'm saying? There's not very many people out
Absolutely.
here. Most promoters out here have set up promotions just to kind of feed their own ego because they couldn't hack it in training in real life.
Mm-hmm. And, just being around a guy like John, being able to have him kind of show us the right way of doing things and expanding on certain things and, taking things that we've been doing forever and going, okay, that's all right, but try doing this and just twist it a little bit and see what happens. And it has just opened my mind to so many different aspects of the wrestling business and different things that I can do to make my job easier, make my body last longer in this business, and overall just make me be able to do this every day until I make tons of money doing it. Because it's a business. And bottom line, it's a business, and I want to make money doing what I love. And right now, I am on the road every weekend with my best friends, and I am doing exactly what I want to do with my life. And OSPW couldn't give that to me. OSPW could not give that to me at all. OSPW, it was not fun anymore. It was going to work and being bored, going through the motions, giving them mediocrity, and I don't want to give them that. They deserve better than that. And if they want that, they can go places and see that. Places like IWF, it's an hour and a half from Buffalo. I think it's from Brockport. It's an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, you can drive that hour and 10 minutes.
Depending on how you drive like me, it's like 45 minutes away.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, even then, it's an hour or less to come see me do what I do, but better with more passion. There's more to it. And I don't want to sound like I was phoning it in with OSPW, but in a place like IWF, I come out to the ring, and everyone there cares. Everyone there wants to see a match. They want to be entertained. Whereas a place like OSPW, you'd walk to the ring and you could work a crowd, but being able to go everywhere else and I don't have to do much to get a reaction, and then to come to OSPW and it's just, they don't want to be there. They're just there because they're there. It's what they've done.
I've always called that place purgatory. I said it back in 2006 during my first run there. I said it in 2010 or 2011 during my last run there, and just, and I said it as I was leading up to and the drama kept happening, and I kept saying, why am I even doing this? Why am I even coming here? This is the exact element I tried to leave anyways. But now that we got that clear, OSPW and the workers behind the scenes that had that JC bandwagon myth, there's your answer. Yeah. Get over it. Moving on. I also have to point out one thing as well. Just final little nail in the coffin for this one. The rumor going around the locker room was that I didn't make my own decision to leave, and that it was my tag partner's decision to leave. Yes, I did hear about that, and I laughed when I heard that one. But I'll let you take the helm on this one. Go ahead.
That one pissed me off because it came from somebody that helped train me in this business, and it came from somebody who I kind of came up with in this business. That being Tommy Mandrake and Brian Emanon. Brian Emanon being the man who helped train me. Doubted the fact that it was my choice to leave, and Tommy Mandrake went up and said, to a few people, why the hell did Eric and Tommy leave? Well, I don't think it was Eric's choice. No, it was definitely my choice. That's why I professionally went to the promoter and said, this is how I feel. What do you think? And when the promoter said to me, if your heart's not in it, I completely understand, and all I ask is that you bring back my titles in one piece. And it was between me and the promoter because guess what? Once again, a business between an employer and an employee. I mean, I can't even say employee because I wasn't getting paid, but between an employer and an employee, the conversations that happen between them are conversations that happen between them. And after I had my conversation and said I'm leaving.
I'd have to censor myself out here, you mother. I've been saying that for years. I've been saying that for years, man.
So it's the whole, what the conversation I had with him was, I don't want to work for you anymore. He said, okay, I understand. The reason you're getting out of it is the reason I'm getting out of it. And I said, wow, I'm glad we can agree on that. And I said, I will bring your titles to you on the 9th. You will have the day of the match.
Call it a hunch. I don't think he's getting out of it. He's getting out of the promoter game, but I have a feeling he's going to be very much involved with the offspring of that. But anyways, all right, enough talking about that place. We've given it entirely too much press. I felt it was important for you to get your side out for the, quite frankly, the Brian Emanons and the Tommy Mandrakes of the world that think you don't have a mind of your own. But
I appreciate that.
All right, so I wanted to get down to business with the Buffalo Club and what they said on a previous podcast a couple of weeks ago and talk to you about that. And I'm going to get to that really quickly. But first, I want to go ahead, kick it off to commercials. We've been talking a little bit long here. So let's kick it to commercials. We'll come right back. We'll talk more local madness here on Talking Wrestling with Eric Emanon right after this. Hey everyone, John Cimino here for the Gear Radio Network, and you have asked and asked repeatedly, what is up with the app? We know you have one, and you never push it, you never do anything with it. Well, guess what? We got a better one, and it is free. It is absolutely available for you, and there's so much more you can do with it. Visit GearNetwork.com and click Get the App. It's up on the top banner, or if you're feeling really brave, head to gearnetwork.mobapp.at on your mobile phone and your mobile phone's browser, and you can take Gear Network with you wherever you go. Listen to every show on the Gear Network right from the app. You can view all of our social networks in real time. You can read Gear Network and BLTDsports.com blogs in real time, and you can also shop Amazon and help us out and help you out. It is free. Did I mention that? Again, gearnetwork.com or gearnetwork.mobapp.at. Download it right now. Let's talk Friday. It is IWF, and I mentioned it earlier. My second guest, Marc Hauss, is going to be wrestling. Who is he wrestling? Oh man, it escapes me right now. But Bobby Ocean, that's it. He's wrestling Bobby Ocean for the right to go on later on that night to face Sean Carr for the IWF Championship. But I want to bring bring attention to your situation specifically because in episode 7 of the Turnbuckle Talk radio podcast, which is heard here on Gear Network as well, the Buffalo Club was on there, and first of all, they said they didn't like me. That's why they didn't want to pick my podcast to go ahead and air their story or whatever. But hey, whatever. If it it helps out Turnbuckle Talk. You're on the network anyways. It doesn't matter to me. But in any event, they laid out a challenge to you, and I want to talk to you about this here because, well, first of all, I got a bone to pick with you. Last show, Tommy was unavailable.
Yep.
You were by yourself.
Doing his Project Wrestling, yep.
And you picked Super Beast, of all people, to be your tag team partner. Dude, I was available, man. Why the hell didn't you call me?
So what happened there was a little of, best of the worst case scenario, if you will. Me and Tommy, we had our little spat at IWF. We beat the hell out of each other. We finally settled everything, and I said to him, "Hey, man, I think you'll be good to go down to do Project Wrestling, and I'll be fine here." And the Home Wreckers came out, and I was on the docket to work that night, but I wasn't appreciating the way they were treating the Jaybird guys, Jaybird Apparel guys. My buddy Rob and my buddy Jake and my buddy Mike over there, and Marco, all them. From Jaybird, they're very close to me. They're a bunch of dudes that have been very supportive of me since the first day I met them. Since day one.
Those are the T-shirt guys, right?
Yep, those are my guys, and I got them into sponsoring IWF, and they all love wrestling. That's really what it is. They all love wrestling, and we always talked wrestling. And
I'm just gonna say this right now, and I'm putting this out there, not kissing their ass or anything. Yeah, I really like their shirts. Okay, proceed.
But, it really came down to it. I didn't like the way that the Home Wreckers were disrespecting my boys. And I came out, and I made that very clear. I said, you don't come into my hometown. You don't disrespect my friends. You especially don't disrespect my family. And when I talk about my friends, I've got my friends, and then I've got my family. And Jaybird guys, those are my family. You don't talk bad about them. I'm going to come out there, and I'm going to punch them in the mouth. So, I was ready to go out there and fight both the home wreckers by myself because, I may be little, but I'm scrappy, and I like to think that I got that from Uncle JC, I may have little stature, but I will hit the hell out of you. And
thanks for the plug and put over there, buddy. I appreciate it.
So, it really came down to it. I looked at these two and I said, you know what? I think I could take them. I really do. And I wasn't really worried about Ash. I've seen him around, and he's always been kind of in the shadows for whatever companies we've worked together. But I really just think that I can take these guys. I said to myself, I can do this. I really can. Then Super Beast comes stumbling out, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, this is a guy who, once again, helped me on my way up. He was somebody who was always at the NEW school back when it was located in Gates. He was always at the Auditorium Theater. He was always there pushing me to be better, be better, be better. Hell, he was at Williams Martial Arts back in North Greece, back in 2004, indeed. 2005.
Indeed.
And so he's been there 12 years now that I've known this guy, maybe even longer. I think I met him in the Clown's backyard when I was a kid. So I've known this guy. We'll just ballpark him. We'll say 15 years. I never thought that would happen. I've always seen Beast as a genuine guy to me. He's always been super good to me. We've had the pleasure of sharing a ring, like I said, March 8th, 2008. He was across the ring from me, but he was somebody who welcomed me into the business. He didn't have to, but he did. And so when he came and said, let's do this, let's take him on, I was like, all right, yeah. Fast forward to the hot tag. I go up, I tag Beast in, ducks a punch, and I turn around, I get cold cocked in the face, And
see, that's why you should have called me, man. Because first of all, I don't really have any allegiances, so I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's number one. But number two, at the very least, I could have educated you on Super Beast, because when you think about it, you went back to Williams Martial Arts, and even before that, who was he rolling with at the time?
Cartel. I never put two
Cartel.
together.
Who was the cartel at the time? It was me, Beast, and Zeke. So I know firsthand, and that original incarnation of the cartel, which is the best one in my opinion. That original cartel of myself, Robert Ezekiel, and Super Beast rode together for 4.5 years. Yeah. So I know exactly how Super Beast thinks. And if you would have called me and said, dude, I think I'm going to pick Super Beast as my partner against the Buffalo Club, I'd have been like, I'm on my way with the mag light.
Right. I wish I had the time. I truthfully did, because I called out the home wreckers ringside, and Beast literally came out to the ring. Truthfully, it was a knee-jerk reaction, and I definitely, looking back on the whole thing, even with Tommy not there, I should have had you there. Just from the dig.
Indeed. All right, but now let's lay this out for you here.
Okay.
There is a contract that's already signed. I don't know if IWF announced it, but this was given to me by a member of IWF management, so I guess I'm taking that as the okay to go ahead and say this. But the contract has already been signed. Vince and Flyer of the Buffalo clubs, Vince Fleur and Jay Flyer, versus Terrell Kenneth and Michael Skyros. Those are two of your boys. Tommy, as far as we know right now, last we know, he's out of the equation. Cassius Cutcher, nowhere to be found right now. So it's you against. So it's you by yourself, and the Buffalo Club laid out a challenge to you versus any combination of that faction. Now, Vince and Flyer aside, that leaves Super Beast, that leaves the Home Wreckers. My question to you, and we're breaking it here first. They laid out a challenge, you versus any combination of the BC. Who's it going to be?
I'm a fighting man. I don't have a tag team, so fighting the Home Wreckers 2-on-1 wouldn't be smart. And unless you're free Friday night,
For the right
I don't
price.
have a team. For the right price. You know what? I know I can beat the homewreckers. I'd rather take Beast out of the equation first.
Really? So
I
you're
know
gonna
we do
go.
that.
You're gonna go after the big man himself. You're gonna go after Super Beast.
He has it coming to him. I'm thinking back to all the things, all the situations I've had with him, all the times that I've been hit by Super Beast, and you know what? Yeah, we're gonna do Super Beast. You let IWF know we're gonna do Super Beast because
No, don't now. They're gonna listen to this. They're gonna listen to
Good.
this. So
Good.
you need to
And I
say.
want-
You tell IWF right now. IWF, if you are listening, you are listening right now to Eric. Eric is talking directly to you. Eric, make it official with them.
IWF Brockport, New York, Friday night. You will see the American Nightmare, son of a monster, the leader of the IndyCar Mafia, a fond subscriber of the Takeover, taking on the man who cowardly took me out last month, who laid me out in front of my friends and family. I am going one-on-one with Super Beast.
And that is this Friday in Brockport. Eric, if I may offer you one piece of advice that I could give you on air publicly, will you accept it?
Yeah.
Run. Run circles in that ring. Get him tired. He ain't going to move as fast as you. Get him tired. It's the old rope-a-dope, just like Ali and George Foreman back in the day.
Okay.
all right.
You know what? It feels good. It feels good. No, because, see, last month I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Now I'm definitely well aware of what I'm getting into. And coming up with Beast, I know his weaknesses. I know his strengths, but I definitely know his weaknesses. And I think if my Jaybird boys have anything to say about this, they're not going to be happy with the Buffalo Club. And I don't think I'm going to have to worry about, Anthony Gaines, Jet Rebel, Jonathan Ash. And one thing I do got to point out, something that's a little screwy with this whole situation is the whole thing was hashtag kill the old guard. You just employed the old guard. You're literally fighting alongside the same thing you're fighting against. I'm not the old guard.
I didn't think about it from that perspective. I mean, playing devil's advocate here, Super Beast is still relatively on the young side. He's been in the business for a very long time, but he's still a very young man. So
Absolutely.
I think I get what they're going for with the kill the old guard thing, but you're very right. You're very right. All right, but I'm getting the go home sign here right now. So Eric, why don't you give out your plugs and everything like that? Where can they find you on social media? Do you have tickets still available? Let them know the info.
Alrighty, well, you can always find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Eric Emanon Pro Wrestling. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Emanon. Instagram, if you care to see photos of my kids, food, and/or wrestling, at ICM_Emanon. In the next coming weeks, you're going to see me at a few of these places. Obviously, IWF Friday. Sunday, I will be making my debut in Delco Pro Wrestling in Philadelphia. I have the Sanctuary next Friday. ACPW on the 30th against Doyle Day, debuting in New Jersey. The Sanctuary anniversary show coming up on the 31st, and then I don't know if you saw this, Uncle JC. We will be making our Tier 1 Wrestling debut coming up in August as well.
I did see that.
So,
I did see that. Very, very proud of you guys.
I appreciate that. But yeah, those are the few places you can see me. As always, I do have pre-sale tickets available, bundle deals available for those people who want to buy lump sums of tickets all at once. And I know Front Row's sold out, so get your general admissions before we close the doors.
All right, very good, very good. Give IndyCar Media a quick plug, too, while you're at it.
Oh, yeah, www.facebook.com/IndyCar Media, and I'll probably be running a back-to-school deal coming up soon for some design work. So anybody who's looking for some of the good old designs for merchandise, gear, you name it, rebranding, come to me, give me your money, I give you products.
Very good, and they are a major sponsor of the Gear Radio Network entirely. Eric, my dude, it's always a pleasure, man. Best of luck to you on Friday if I don't see you, and in the weeks to come. We'll touch base soon.
All right, man. Have a good one.
That was Eric Emanon talking to us for a little bit there. Always good to hear from Eric, and good to hear with what he's doing. And hey, he just laid down the gauntlet. He's going to be taking on the big man, one of the biggest men in the area, Super Beast. It is Friday at IWF Summer Bash in Brockport. And speaking of IWF Summer Bash in Brockport, more local madness. Marc Hauss joins us next on Talking Wrestling right after the break. Stick around. Hey, Dawn, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America? That one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds, that.
And a little what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Dawn, is a real humdinger.
Humdinger.
Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm Ryan Wolf.
it's Mr. Perez.
And I have a question for you, Perez.
What's your question?
Do you like to listen to people talk about sports?
No. Of course I like sports and listening to people talk about sports.
Well, guess what? I have the perfect solution for you.
Solution for me?
There's a podcast
Okay.
on this very network.
This network?
Every single week you can hear it.
Really?
New content, latest and breaking news. We talk about baseball, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, UFC, whatever you want to talk about.
So sports in general.
They talk about sports in general. You got it.
I like
you
it.
know the dictionary.
I like
I'm
it.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
I must say, tune in. We are better live than dead.
You're not.
Every single week. You're not going to want to miss it. Exclusively here on the Gear Radio Network.
You're listening to Talking Wrestling. Once again, JC Money. Welcome back to Talking Wrestling, everybody, here on the Gear Radio Network. And hey, there are a lot of choices for lawn care and landscaping, but does your choice have local veterans in mind? Well, I can tell you what, I know of one place that does. They are local here to Rochester. They are Patriot Lawn Care and Landscaping. That's right. Here's some of the things they offer. They offer lawn care with edging and mulching, power washing, fall cleanup, gutter cleaning, and snow removal. We know how those winters in Rochester can get. Last one was a fluke, but I'm telling you right now, with the way the summer is right now, we might get killed this winter. But I'll tell you what, the best part of all of that, besides all of the services that they provide, is that some of the proceeds from your purchase with them will go directly to helping local veterans in Rochester. That is a thing that I think we all can consider a win. Your lawn will consider it a win because your lawn's going to look good, because Patriot's going to take care of you. You'll consider it a win because you're going to be helping out local veterans in Rochester. And Gear Network will consider it a win because if you mention that you heard it here on Talking Wrestling or on Get Ready America, because I'm going to give them a plug on Get Ready America as well, they will give you $5 off of your first 2 cuts. That's right. No gimmicks there. $5 off your first 2 cuts. And they're going to donate to local veterans. No way that is not a win-win. So here's what you do. Go to Facebook.com/Patriot Lawn and Landscape. It's all one big long word, but I'll go ahead and I will link it to the Talking Wrestling and Gear Network page for that matter. Or call 585-465-3409. Again, that is Patriot Lawn Care and Landscaping. Tell them Gear Network sent you. Get $5 off and help local veterans too. Great cause. Go ahead and do it. They are sponsoring this segment. And this segment right now, we're going to go ahead and kick it off and just get right to it. We had Eric last segment joining us right now on the Patriot Lawn Care and Landscaping hotline for this segment. He's going to be wrestling Bobby Ocean at IWF tomorrow. He's going to be wrestling him for the right to face Sean Carr for the IWF Heavyweight Championship. Mr. Marc Hauss. Marc, my man, how in the hell are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be back. It's been way too long, and I'm really sad about that.
As am I, as am the listeners. You know, this episode I've entitled Local Madness 3, and I was doing some research here because I had Eric Emanon as the first guest in the show for Local Madness, and when I looked at the first Local Madness episode that I did, which is way back in 2014, episode number 15, both you and Eric, believe it or not, were the guests on that podcast as well.
That's hilarious.
All right, Mark. So talking about, we were talking heavily about IWF, and this coming Friday, tomorrow, when this podcast is released, you are going to be stepping in the ring. Now, originally, it was supposed to be John McChesney against Sean Carr, challenging Sean Carr for the IWF Championship, and it was you against Bobby Ocean. And I don't know that there was any stipulation for that before the injury, but now since the injury... IWF management has changed the match, you versus Bobby Ocean, where the winner will then go on later that night to wrestle Sean Carr for the IWF Championship. So tell me, and tell the listening audience, when you got word of that change to the match, what was your first reaction?
For me, it was excitement. It was one of those things where when you go and you work as hard as I try to work and as hard as I think that I work, it's nice to be able to be rewarded with something like that where they choose Bobby Ocean and myself to be able to have that opportunity out of anybody in that locker room. They give us the opportunity to fight for the spot to fight for the gold.
And now with that, now I'm not very familiar with Bobby Ocean, but is this the first time that you and him have wrestled? Do you know a lot about him? Have you scouted him, or have you been in the ring with him before in other places, and you have an idea of what to expect being in the ring with him?
Oh, I know exactly what to expect. Him and I have actually only wrestled once. We wrestled at IWF last show. What ended up happening is he came out, and I wrestled Vince Valor and won quite aggressively against him, and then Bobby Ocean came on, decided to run down IWF in Rochester, and I had taken exception with that, so I came right back out right after my match and wrestled him my second match of the night back-to-back, but ended up coming up a little short. So I know exactly what I'm going up against, and I can tell you this, is that he barely survived on my second match, and with me being fresh and being straight up one-on-one, I don't think he's got a chance.
Very good. So in a perfect scenario, you beat Bobby Ocean, you go on later that night to wrestle Sean Carr. How do you think you're going to be? Because Sean Carr is a gamer. We all know this. Everybody knows this. Sean Carr, burst on the scene in I think 2008 or 2009 and just has skyrocketed, to where he is, and just hasn't looked back. And you're on that same exact parallel. I have often compared the two of you together. So for me personally, that's a dream match. How are you going to be going up against a fresh Sean Carr, provided you get by Bobby Ocean?
I look at it this way, is that he might have the advantage in terms of being fresh, but with everything all the adversity I've had to go through over the past couple of years and everything that I've had to do to claw and scratch my way back up to the top, that heart and determination that I have will make up for any lost energy that is expended through Bobby Ocean if I get to that point. Because, I've had to go through so many trials and tribulations that I don't have any other choice. Like, there is no, well, this might occur. This is a must-win situation for me.
And we've documented the trials and tribulations. In fact, I think it was the first appearance that you made on this podcast. I think you were my second guest. Right after Eric, believe it or not. Imagine how that works out there. Now I just got to get you and Eric in the ring together, going on one-on-one with each other. I'd have to be the guest ref.
Last time we were in the ring was 2004.
Oh, God, that had to be awful.
It was horrendous.
All right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did I also see a flyer via the Facebook, because everything's on Facebook nowadays? Did I happen to see that at Headlocks and Home Runs, you're going to be wrestling the Brooklyn Brawler?
Oh, yes, I am. I am wrestling the Brooklyn Brawler.
How in the hell did that come about?
I don't know. The Brooklyn Brawler was available, and he wanted to come in and work for UPW, and, I was the lucky man that got the opportunity to go in there and, put the boots to the Brawler.
Now, it's one thing to be like, okay, I've wrestled Barry Hardy, and I'm not knocking Barry Hardy. Barry Hardy's been in the ring with everybody. But Brooklyn Brawler, Barry Hardy was in the ring with everybody in a certain generation. You know what I mean? The 80s and early 90s. He was in that crowd. Brooklyn Brawler is the guy that has spanned, 1984 on through just earlier this year, working for the company. So if anybody knows exactly what that place is looking for, it's him. So what are you gonna bring to the table against the Brooklyn Brawler, who clearly he's clearly older than you, vastly more experienced than everybody in this area. But what are you going to bring to the table that might, impress someone like him?
I got to bring it all. I got to bring A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I got to bring all the games. I got to bring everything I got, and I have to bring the biggest thing is bring the smarts and bring the brain, because you can go out there and be as physical as you need to, but against someone like him who knows every trick in the book and has been around the block and has seen everything from the lowest to the highest and has that longevity that most people don't have, you need to be able to be smart about it and not go in headstrong and try to prove a point. You need to be able to think before you act.
You know what? I agree with you. Absolutely. I wish I had that advice when I was in the ring with Jimmy Snuka, Tito Santana, those guys who I was going in with, I got to show these old guys a thing or two, instead of going in business as usual, ready to win. And I think that was my downfall in those matches with those guys. And to your point, you go in, regardless of the luster that that particular person you're wrestling brings to you, your mindset should be the same. You should be going in the same way that you would be going in if you were wrestling a local guy in a bar. You would have to have that same mentality, that same win mentality, and not allow yourself to be caught up in the moment. I would think. I'm thinking that's what you're getting at, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So what else you got going on, man? You have been super, super busy, and it's kind of a good thing that my match didn't actually go through, because you've been so busy that, and me too. But we haven't been able to get at each other for a sparring session lately. So.
We'd have to get each other in general. You and I have to wrestle, man. That's what's got to happen. You and I got to lock horns and see how it goes.
I could tell you exactly how it's going to go. You're going to carry me like a suitcase, pal. But
that's okay. That's okay. We all want to go on vacation sometime.
I got no shame in that game. I got no shame. I'll admit that now. But so what has been up with Marc Hauss? What has Marc Hauss been up to lately? You've been pretty much all over.
I'm wrestling every weekend. I have bookings all the way through the middle of next year. And that's like a solid booking. That's not like sparingly. That's every weekend, a couple times a weekend to the middle of next year, and got some going on all the way to the end of next year. Just keep myself busy, keep up on social media, making some new merchandise, looking for sponsors, just keeping busy. I mean, this weekend alone, I got Bobby Ocean and potentially wrestling Sean Carr. Saturday I'm in Cleveland, so Friday I go from Brockport to Saturday in Cleveland to wrestle at MAW. I debut there against a guy named Tim Horner Jr. And then I drive all the way back to Elmira to wrestle for a company who's debuting themselves called WrestleSphere against the one and only Jonathan Gresham. And John Gresham is a big deal for me, so I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, that's awesome. Tim Horner Jr., he is the son of Tim Horner Sr.
Correct. Yes, that's a very good observation.
Talk to me about WrestleSphere. You just mentioned you're excited about that. Why is that?
Well, first of all, it's cool to see another company pop up, but take it very seriously. I don't know if you've seen any of their promo packages, and they're plugging themselves, doing a lot of radio, a lot of sponsorships. I mean, they're really going to town on unplugging their product and giving the best product possible. And I don't know, do you know much about John Gresham?
I've heard the name, but I couldn't pick him. Sadly, I couldn't pick him out of a crowd.
But he's let's put it this way: he just wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. down in Florida a week or two ago and beat him. And Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the hottest free agents who will be doing good things on the Cruiserweight Classic. So it's kind of a big deal. He is an amazing technical wrestler and somebody that I know that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with, and it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be one of those matches that I feel will be instantly one of my favorites.
All right, cool. And I would assume that the Marc Hauss camera is going to go with you wherever you go, and you'll be posting that online, perhaps the Watch a Match Wednesday, or is that do you still do that, the Watch a Match Wednesday?
Oh, yes, the Watch a Match Wednesday. I just posted mine today with a little shout-out to my man Cody Diener, because he's going to be wrestling at Friday in IWF, so I wanted to give him a little shout-out. But, no, I still do the Watch a Match Wednesday, and I got something every day on my social media pages. So if you ever show up, it's the same thing, the same day every week. So gets you in a routine so you know what's coming.
All right, well, I want to see that WrestleSphere match on Watch a Match Wednesday, one of these Wednesdays, so that way I can
it'll be up next Wednesday.
Perfect. Well, you know what? Hey, maybe you put it up next Wednesday.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to put up all my matches from this weekend then.
All right. Very good. Marc Hauss. All right, I'm getting the go home right now. So let's go ahead. Let's throw out all your social media plugs. Get everything out there. Where we already talked about it, I know, but let's remind everybody, where are we going to be able to see you?
You can see me. Let's give the next 2 weeks. So this weekend we got IWF in Brockport, New York on Friday. Saturday in Lorain, Ohio, we're going to be at MAW, and then Elmira, New York at WrestleSphere. Next Saturday, or the Saturday afterwards, it's July 30th, I'll be in Binghamton, New York for Excite Wrestling. And on that Sunday, I'll be helping Sean Carr open and debut the Excite Wrestling Academy. And then the Friday, the 5th of August, I'm going to be in Montgomery, Pennsylvania, defending my Moonshine branded heavyweight championship against the Game Changer Aaron Bradley for ECPW. And then on the 6th is Headlocks and Home Runs, where I wrestled the Brooklyn Brawler in Webster, New York. So, that's my next couple of weeks. So if you want to follow me, hit me up. I got new merchandise coming out soon, and I got a bunch of matches and a bunch of places you can see me.
Real quick, you mentioned the Moonshine Heavyweight Championship. It got me thinking, this area, Rochester area, you haven't been a heavyweight champion in this area, have you?
Not for a long time. It's Pier 6.
Pier 6, okay, that you were a Pier 6 heavyweight champion. All right, well, we need to change that. We need to refresh it. So get out there. Best of luck to you tomorrow. Go out there, do the double duty, win that title, and then when you win that title, damn it, I want first interview with the champ.
That's fine. If I get that championship, you got it.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Mark. We will talk to you soon, man. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Marc Hauss, everybody, making his second appearance this season on Talking Wrestling, and his 7 millionth appearance entirely between both Talking Wrestling and Get Ready America. He is a major friend of the program, and of course you are going to get to see him tomorrow. You'll see him tomorrow at IWF Summer Bash, and just announced, I want to break it out for you right now because I just got this from IWF management. There is going to be a ladies match as well, in addition to Marc Hauss versus Bobby Ocean and Eric Emanon now against Super Beast. But Beautiful Bee is going to take on her sister Patsy Blue. So it's a sister battle, Beautiful Bee against Patsy Blue. Again, that is IWF. That is tomorrow. If you are listening, which you should be, today on Thursday, the show's tomorrow. So get there. Facebook.com/TheIWF for information on there. You can reach out to Eric himself or to Mark or to Big Cat for that matter. Big Cat, haven't forgot about you. Highest rated episode in Gear Network history. Mr. Big Cat Limmer, by the way. Go see them. Go see them. Tell them I sent you. You never know. I might pop up in IWF at some point too. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe sometime soon. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take it home, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 38th episode of the Talking Wrestling Podcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in this and every week to every podcast that we put out there, and for supporting the Gear Network from its inception to its current state and going onward and onward, my babies. So, thanks again. This is a copyrighted podcast of the Gear Radio Networks, and any rebroadcast or reproduction without the express written permission of the Gear Radio Networks is strictly prohibited. The executive producer is Mrs. Dawn Semino. The boss of Gear Network is Mrs. Emma Semino, if you can hear in the back right there. But All right, thanks again for listening in. We are going to talk WWE Draft. I'm going to try and get this up and running again next week because I got some catching. Lucy, I got some catching up to do, baby. All right, but until then, so long, everybody. Good night now.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.